Welcome to House of Sovereignty, a space for women who are ready to come back to themselves in love, relationships, and life. I'm Marla Martenson, matchmaker, coach, and intuitive. And in each episode, I'll be sharing stories, insights, and a little bit of magic so you can start seeing things more clearly, trusting yourself more deeply, and experiencing love in a different way. Welcome to the first episode of House of Sovereignty, my new podcast. If you've never met me before, my name is Marla Martenson. I am a professional matchmaker, life coach, intuitive reader and guide, medium, writer. I'm an award-winning author of 4 memoirs. So I'm a Gemini. I do a lot of things, but my main gig, my main mission in life over the past quarter of a century, 25 years, I can't believe it, has been being a professional matchmaker, connecting people to their soulmates. It's been an amazing ride, ups and downs and learning so much. And I started my matchmaking career in Beverly Hills, and I wrote a memoir called Diary of a Beverly Hills Matchmaker, chronicling a lot of the stories and experiences as a Beverly Hills matchmaker, as well as insights in my private life. It's a very funny memoir. But I started in Beverly Hills. I was there for 7 years. And then in late 2009, I left. I just couldn't take working for somebody else anymore. As I got deeper into my 40s, I think with menopause coming on and the testosterone rising, the estrogen lowering, I didn't want anyone else pulling my strings. I was getting a little feisty. I'm like, no, I need to be my own boss. And I started my own boutique matchmaking service. And I spoke with women, so many women. I still interview about 5 women per week to be in the database. The men are my paying clients. And so the women can be in the database for free to be matched up. And so I'm speaking to women all the time and really finding out what they need, what they're missing, what they're frustrated with, where the healing needs to happen. And so I decided to go on a little side path there. I'm going to still matchmake, but I started something called House of Sovereignty. And that is, it's on my website. It's like House of Sovereignty is like an umbrella, and then under that, where it's like a house, let's say it's a house, and then we've got different rooms. And in those rooms, I have different private podcast experiences, their audio journeys on different topics. And so, for example, I've got one called the Jekyll and Hyde effect. That's for women who are in a relationship with the Jekyll and Hyde, maybe a narcissist. I've got Living a Magical Life, which is a private one-to-one intuitive experience with me. So we're doing different things. And I had to think about, what is my passion going forward? I'm in my 6th decade now. And just as, if it's a single person might think, hey, how do I want the next chapter of my life to look? Do I want to spend it with someone special? Do I want to be alone now? What do I want it to look like? And so I really am wanting to move. We'll see how much longer. If I do, I don't know if I'm going to do another quarter of a century of matchmaking, but we'll see how much longer I stick with the matchmaking. But I definitely will be supporting women in different ways. And there's a quote by Patanjali that I want to share with you. I just love, and I came across this the other day. So it says, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds, your mind transcends limitations, your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents come alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. Isn't that amazing, those words written by the Indian mystic? They are so profound, so deep and authentic. When you journey within and connect with that spirit, the God that created you, and you just allow who you are, your uniqueness to rise up, just amazing events, just synchronicities start happening, just like a magic wand, and they start to mold and shape your world. And it gets so exciting when we're really living our talents, our purpose, who we're meant to be. And I'm also here to just remind you of how special you are and how amazing you are. And, with social media and people following other people and looking at what they're doing, sometimes we may feel as women, as we get older, a little like, well, we're not as pretty, or we don't look as good as we used to, or we're less than. A good example is when I'm out and about, sometimes I'll see, well, I don't want anybody to be offended here if you've done this, but this trend of these big, what is it called? The BBL, the big butt injections, and the buttocks, they're making them so big and huge, and they're injecting stuff into them, and there's these problems, and it just looks so unnatural. And somebody started this trend, and then people just jumped on it and started doing it, and there's so much damage to the body. And what about when that trend is no longer trending? What are you going to do? How is that? How do you get it out and get back? It's just following these things. It makes no sense. And pumping your face and lips, and there's all sorts of things that women will resort to because there's a feeling underneath, well, I'm not good enough the way I am. What can I do? What do I need to do to be more exciting, more attractive, more whatever? And I just want you to remember, as you're out there, whether you're dating, looking for that someone special, or in a relationship and feeling that you need to do something to make it more exciting, you are so freaking unique, literally made of stardust, of the components, the compounds that are the same in stars, part of this universe. And I really want to help you to bring out what makes you shine, what makes you unique. I would love it if after this episode you would take out a journal and write down 5 things that are unique about you, 5 things that you love about yourself, 5 things that maybe you've done that no one else that you know has done. What kind of trips have you taken? What have you done to help other people? What different languages do you speak? What's your special style? What kind of magical experiences have happened to you? So, I'll be talking about different aspects, but one of the main reasons I'm doing this podcast, and one of the things I'm going to be talking about, because I'm going to be supporting women who are single and married. Now, before I'm going to talk about something that I know when I say what it is, you're going to say, oh my gosh, yes, I've fallen for that, I've done that. But one of my big passions is going to be helping and supporting women who are in relationships. Maybe they're married, but they're living with a man, and it is toxic. The man may be, we don't want to diagnose anybody, but you may say, oh, he's a narcissist. He's a Jekyll and Hyde. I'm walking on eggshells. It's so, I've been in this dynamic, and I've done a lot of work. I've had to leave and go away for 3 years. I'll tell my story on another episode, but I've done it. I've been in these relationships more than once where you're in there with somebody, and they are giving emotional abuse, a lot of criticism, maybe insults, raising their voice, that Jekyll and Hyde thing. And what do you do when you can't leave? So this is for, it's so easy for women to say, other women to say, hey, well, I wouldn't put up with that. Why don't you just leave? Hey, if anybody's telling you that, do not feel guilty or down on yourself. I understand that you can't always leave. Life is very expensive these days. How are you just going to walk out on a mortgage or kids, pets? Maybe you're ill, or your partner's ill. Maybe you're older. Maybe you're just not ready to leave. Maybe you won't leave. or maybe you will one day, but in the meantime, whatever the situation is, in the meantime, you want to know how to navigate this, how not to react. Because once you react, it escalates. A man with that kind of a personality, the dynamic, they are never going to say, if you defend yourself or argue back, they're never going to say, oh, you know what, you're right. Sorry. It's not going to happen. It'll just escalate. And so I have a program to help with that, and it's called the Sovereign Reset. And all the information's below in the show notes, the links and everything. But so I'm going to go deeper into that dynamic to help women. That is my passion. I know there's a lot of women out there in this situation. I remember at one point a few years back, I was in this narcissistic abuse support group on Facebook. There were 23,000 women in there. And so I know that this is prevalent. I know that women are dealing with this. I actually got kicked out of the group. One thing, I think I commented once, because women love just to complain in there and, oh, he's an a-hole and da-da-da-da, and it just very negative. It was more of a bitch fest in there than anything, and that won't change anything. And so I think I said a comment, well, what I've been doing is kind of taking responsibility for my part in it and looking at where I can shift and heal. Oh, they didn't like that. They blocked me out. So they wanted to continue bitching and moaning. So I am going to help women stop complaining and start, regulating. But today I'm going to talk about why you keep falling for breadcrumbs. From breadcrumbs to boundaries, baby. All right, so I just want to talk about this kind of deep conversation because you may have been shrinking. You may have been chasing. You've been giving your all to someone who can't even give you the bare minimum. And okay, let me paint a picture, okay? Just see if this sounds familiar. So you meet someone, okay, you meet a guy, all right, and it starts off really fast, magnetic, maybe even intoxicating. He's saying all the right things. You feel chosen, you feel seen, you feel desired, and your body lights up, your heart opens just a little bit, you're like, hey, this feels really good. And then the shift happens. The texts, they slow down, the attention starts to slip. Oh, he's busy or overwhelmed or he just needs space. But he doesn't leave. He lingers just enough to keep you hoping. And every now and then you get it you get one of these flirty emojis or messages thinking about you just enough to pull you back in. That's called breadcrumbing. Little crumbs of affection that never add up to the full meal, right? And you're starving. You're still waiting. But let's be real. You're not naive, weak, or desperate. I know you're probably high functioning and successful. You're intuitive. You're emotionally intelligent. You give deep. You love deep, right? But why does this kind of dynamic still happening? It used to happen to me all the time when I was single. Just these breadcrumbing. Back then, I didn't know that term. I didn't know what the hell was happening. But why do you keep getting stuck in half loves with men who can't or won't meet you? All right, let me tell you something. It might blow your mind, all right? You are not falling for the breadcrumbing. Your nervous system is. So I want to kind of explain the nervous system. Our bodies remember, even when our minds say, I know better than this, our bodies are still wired to seek what's familiar, not what's healthy for us. So if love for you used to feel like walking on eggshells, if you had to earn affection growing up, if attention came and went unpredictably, your body learned that love is something you chase, that it's conditional, that love is inconsistent. So when someone gives you just enough to keep you hooked, but not enough to feel secure, your nervous system lights up like, oh yeah, this feels like home. It's not about logic, it's about wiring. You're not crazy for wanting him to text back. You're not too sensitive for noticing this. You're responding to emotional inconsistency that your body has learned to interpret as love. So I'm going to tell you a story. I remember working with a client, we'll call her Maya. Maya was beautiful, brilliant, intuitive, but every time a guy started pulling away, she would spiral. She'd say, I know he's not right for me, but I can't stop obsessing. It feels like something's wrong with me when he disappears. She felt like, I don't know why everybody leaves me. Does this sound familiar? What she didn't realize, what most of us don't realize, is that she was trying to fix an old wound through a new man. She wasn't trying to win him. She was trying to win the love she never got. So, she saw the pattern. And once you see the pattern, it loses power. So let's get real honest for a moment. How many times have you fallen for a man's potential? The potential, his creativity, his depth. Oh, well, he has a good heart underneath it all. His trauma, the way he could love you, right? The way it could be if only he would grow or do the work. But you weren't dating his healing, you were dating his harm, his wounds. And every time he gave you a little breadcrumb, it felt like a promise. Oh, just stay a little longer, he's getting there, Maybe you are the one that can finally reach him. But here's the truth I wish I knew back when I was dating. You're not here to be a rehab center for emotionally unavailable men. You're not here to crack the code, wait it out, or love someone into becoming ready. You're not here to prove your worth. You're here to be met, period. So what if love didn't have to feel like guessing games? Wouldn't that be a relief? What if it didn't have to feel like waiting, overthinking, or anxiety dressed up as butterflies, those butterflies in the stomach? Oh, it feels like true love. What if it was safe, easy, steady? And the problem isn't that you want too much, it's just that you've been taught to settle for too little. But you can unlearn this. You can rewire that love lens. You can teach your nervous system what safety feels like, and then you can start choosing love that feels like clarity and not confusion. So I would love it if you'd get out your journal after this and just journal on this, okay? Sit with this question. Where in your past did love feel unpredictable, conditional, or hard to hold on to? And it's not blaming anyone or shaming anyone. It's just starting to understand the script that your heart has been reading from. Because the more awareness you bring, the more power you have to rewrite the story. So you're not broken, you're just becoming aware, all right? And so that's something to think about if you are dealing with those breadcrumbs. And I do have a audio series. It's 5 modules. It's short, and it's called in House of Sovereignty. It's called Why He Felt So Real: Decode the Illusion That Felt Like Destiny. And so these are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about and working on and healing from in this podcast. And I am so glad that you are here and that you've joined me. And until next time, much love. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this resonated, I'd really appreciate it if you left a review on iTunes and hit subscribe. And if you'd like to go a little deeper, you can explore my private audio experiences and one-to-one sessions inside House of Sovereignty at marlamartenson.com. Everything is linked below in the show notes. I'd love to connect with you.